All right, we are live. So this is Epic Sketch Time for September 6th, 2016. My name is James Stowe. I am a cartoonist and illustrator. I make a little webcomic called Sidekick Quests. You can read it at sidekickquest.com. It is an all-ages adventure strip, and right now we are doing some time travel stuff, which is weirdly fun for me to write. And I have no idea how I'm going to write myself out of some of the problems I'm about to write myself into. So that was a really long-winded introduction for me, but I will let the others introduce themselves. Tonight I am joined by three other fantastic cartoonists. Please introduce yourself, gentlemen.
My name is Mark Monlux. I do a couple of webcomics. One is The Return of a Stickman. And then I also do cartoon movie reviews called The Comic Critic.
My name is Brett Giuliano. I do a comic called Dust Bunny Mafia, which you can find at comics.dustbunny.mafia.com.
My name is Pat McEwen. I do a comic called The Devil and Mr. Gandhi. You can read it at devilandgandhi.com.
All right, and for the next hour or so, we are going to be drawing, hopefully, epically. And what are you guys drawing tonight?
I'm working on cleaning up a series of inkings I did for obscure aliens in movies.
I'm doing some character slugs for my comic press page.
Wait, did Bill just sneak in?
Yeah.
Yep.
Please introduce yourself.
And I'm Bill Morris. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator, and I do a webcomic called Rhapsodies, which I'm doing these slugs for.
Excellent.
I am working on Friday's strip.
I am also going to be working on Friday's strip. And I'm also working on I do a little drawing contest thing with my webcomic called Retreat Awards. And I am going to be drawing one of those tonight. And hopefully finishing it.
I guess I didn't win.
You who did win? Tobias. Lots of numbers won.
Tobias.
But this is one that I've owed for like 2 weeks now, and it's a wonderful. A fan named Bethany. She asked if I would draw her son as her son's favorite character. With his, he likes. I have a wizard an apprentice in my strip named Bethany, a gray wizard, and her son really likes Bethany and wants to be a gray wizard himself, and he wants his baby brother and two cats to be his familiars, which is adorable. So I get to draw something super adorable tonight.
Aww.
This isn't the same Bethany we were talking about earlier, is it?
This the one that died?
No. Good God, no. That would, yeah, no. But yes, a friend of ours, an illustrator that goes to a freelance group that Mark and I put together, unfortunately passed away on Monday after a very long battle with cancer, and she will be missed greatly.
I was just remembering the last 24-hour comic challenge. It was her first challenge, and she completed it with time to spare.
Wow.
That's a lot better than I did last year. I think I got maybe 6 pages done.
taking it very seriously. She had printed out all the tips that Scott McCloud had posted online on how to do it within a certain time frame. She had her pages and hours figured out. She had it plotted at least as far as what her schedule was going to be. So I was very impressed. Having done the challenge, I think 7 times and only completing it 4 times.
I've done it maybe 5 times now. Twice.
I've done it twice, and I finished it both times.
Wow, that's a good ratio.
And I've been too much of a wimp to do it again because, frankly, I have enough sleep problems without throwing.
Oh, you should join us this year. Come on.
So far, we have 6 people signed up, which is almost half the room already.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm kind of curious, has anyone else done the 24-hour comic challenge?
Yeah, Pat, Brett, have you guys ever done it?
Nope.
Not I.
Nothing but sane people in the room.
I've heard about it, but I enjoy my sleep too much.
You should do it. It's fun. It really challenges you.
Well, it also doesn't help that normally I'm not very good at doing like single panel. And I've seen people say that the best work they do is when they're trying to do a single panel gag per hour. But
I've never done a single panel. Well, I think I've done like a cover page. But,
Yeah, I just do the same kind of comics I usually do.
which has been your downfall. You do way too many panels.
Well, yes, that's true. But I have completed
Surprise.
it twice.
Are you going to be bringing your son this time?
I am not. That was a liability last time.
He crashed and burned.
He did. He couldn't make it, which was a really convenient excuse for me to go home.
Now, I'm a little surprised that he didn't make it. Because when I was a kid his age, I was staying up way late on a Friday nights watching horror movies with my dad. And
Oh yeah, he's not that. He's a teenager now, right?
yes, 13.
My son just turned 13, which makes me officially old.
I can still remember what in my family, everyone got one birthday gift. So I remember what I got for my 13th birthday.
Oh yeah?
And I got a Simon.
Oh, that takes me back.
Wait for your
They still
13th
make those? Actually, I know they still make those. I've seen them being advertised on Cartoon Network.
My son got his own computer.
Wow, his own computer.
Yep. Well, he's a teenager now, needs to do grown-up homework, needs a computer. First thing we did was put Minecraft on it.
I remember how much of a getting our first computer made such a difference because my handwriting was so my handwriting's never won any beauty contests, so it was so much easier for me to type and print.
You know, my son suffers from a similar kind of thing. Maybe typing will be better for him.
Do they at least teach cursive in his school?
Oh, God, no. I don't think that's something that's done anymore.
No, they officially dropped it about 2 years ago, which always mystified me because I remember my first exposure to cursive. It was in the second grade, and it was I was at the time wondering what the point was, since we'd barely gotten the hang of the regular.
Oh man, I was doing cursive way ahead of time. I loved cursive.
Yeah, my father was a cook. He wasn't an artist, but he loved calligraphy. So from a very early age, he instilled upon me a love of proper handwriting and that kind of thing. So, and I was never allowed to touch the calligraphy pens because I drew all the time. So he's like, stay away from those pens. But I always loved cursive and calligraphy writing and it's one of the reasons I think I enjoy graphic design as much as I do.
I know that a lot of my freelance projects have been because of my hand lettering.
My hand lettering was always so bad. I was so glad once decent font tools were created.
That said, I learned typing at it very early on.
On a typewriter, I would imagine.
Yes, yet another birthday gift was I think I got the typewriter for my 14th birthday.
I remember receiving a, what were they called? They weren't a computer, and they weren't a typewriter. They were like an electronic typewriter. Does anybody remember what they were called?
Electric typewriters.
What? They were oh man, it drives me crazy. I can't remember. It was basically just like a typewriter laptop.
Word processor.
Word processor, that was it. I had one of those things. It was the weirdest thing in the world. Well, that brings me back. I haven't thought of a word processor.
My typewriter was something that my dad bought at a secondhand shop. It was made after World War II when they were taking all the parts from tanks and airplanes and just dumping metal into anything. So you would end up with like, a 20-pound toaster and a 40-pound typewriter. This thing weighed a ton, and it looked like a tank. And when I finally got my Apple SE computer and stopped using my typewriter, I thought, I should probably do something with this typewriter since I'm using a computer now. And I remember I was down in the utility shed of the apartment that I was staying at, and this little kid was watching me, as little kids do, just taking stuff out of the closet and putting it back in. And I said, wow, I wonder what I'm going to do with this typewriter. And the kid goes, well, that's a really cool typewriter. And I said, if you can carry it home, it's yours. And I swear to God, this kid just struggled that he was taking this. It was a pleasure to watch him walk off with it.
And that boy grew up to be Stephen King. I'm also aware you're not that old.
Kind of wonder what happened to that typewriter. If he really got into it.
He pawned it.
So if for some reason over the years someone stuck a Robin sticker on the front, like Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
I just came home one day from in college, and in my dorm room, someone had stuck a sticker on it. I thought, well, okay, I'll just leave that there.
Wait, you just got randomly stickered?
Yeah, it was a drive-by sticker. Pranks were still socially acceptable on my campus back then.
I don't know if I would classify a stickering as a prank.
Yeah.
That would require sanctioning of some sort. I mean, I don't think you got hazed. Exactly. I guess it depends on which Robin it was. Maybe they were trying to send you a message.
It looked pretty much like, the 70s Robin.
Jason Todd.
Yeah. Kind of a
Oh.
Dick Ward.
That's what I'm saying, see?
What?
Oh, speaking of that, anybody seen the advertisement to the new Batman animated direct-to-video cartoon? Apparently, it looks like they're doing essentially an animated version of the Adam West show, voiced by the cast.
Wait, by the original cast?
Well, by Adam West and Burt.
Burt Ward.
Yes.
All right, I hate to be this guy, but they are not dead, either of them?
No, they're both alive.
Crazy.
And healthy enough for voice work, since this is
apparently so.
Piece. I mean, Adam West has been doing voice work for some time, admittedly, mostly as a self-parody, which sometimes is almost a shame because the man's pretty competent on his own, whatever you may have thought about the ultra camp show.
Yeah, that show didn't register on my radar.
I was just the right age to be watching it religiously when it was out.
Yeah, no, I was too young for that show to.
Speaking of shows and movies, I managed to see Kubo and the Two Strings in 3D.
Oh, I just saw it this morning.
You saw it this morning?
I loved it. It was
isn't it fantastic? I saw it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was amazing. Just fantastic. I'd say it is my favorite one of their movies.
Technically, I would say so. And then, yes, I definitely put it up pretty high. I think my favorite remains Coraline, mainly because I was a fan of it before it was adopted.
Sure.
But all four of them have been solid works.
I would agree. I've loved that company a lot.
Yeah, definitely on my list of people to send my portfolio to.
They're actually hiring right now.
Yeah.
I'm putting in a resume for a set painter. Because why not?
Yeah.
And how fun would it be to actually physically paint these beautiful sets that they use?
Oh, yeah. Talk about attention to detail.
Yeah, I could do that with the rest of my life and be incredibly happy.
Yeah, and what other ones? Sort of, I'm mildly I'm not sure if it's on my favorite yet, but I rather like Paranorman because it takes place in the neck of the woods I grew up in.
I love that one. That it was really, to me, that was my favorite before this one.
Yeah, because I like the fact that they actually addressed there was more to the they don't understand your power shtick. It's they think it's not they don't think he's crazy or weird because of his strange powers. They think he's crazy and weird because he's talking to thin air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like how they handled almost everything in that.
I assumed that I was talking to an informed group here.
Wait, what?
So earlier that same day, I also saw The Little Prince.
Oh, I haven't. How is it? I read a good but mixed review about it. But considering I have access to it on Netflix, I've been putting it off for too long.
I actually thought it was good and had mixed feelings about it.
Yeah?
Yeah, they really deviated heavily.
I heard, especially with the secondary character, the new character to help with their framing.
Right. And, well, he grows up. The Little Prince grows up.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah, because, as far as adaptations are concerned, did anybody ever watch the Lerner and Lowe version of it? It had Gene Wilder as the fox and Bob Fosse as the snake.
I haven't seen that.
It's pretty good. As far as the music is concerned, I won't say it's Lerner and Lowe's best, but it's has a very good book. And didn't the Will Vinton studio do a version of it? I remember seeing a advertisement for it on one of their tapes, but don't think I ever actually saw it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't know about that. Man, where did I put it?
I'm pretty sure that the only full-length thing that Will Vinton ever did was the Mark Twain one, right?
Again, you're out-geeking me. Man, that's not it.
So Stowe, as a person with young children, and it being back to school time, when do your kids start?
They start tomorrow morning.
Is that one of the reasons you had a fairly frantic day today?
A little bit, yeah. And I got to, I'm probably going to sign off a little early tonight. There it is. Just to make sure that everybody gets to bed at a decent hour.
While putting in a good example.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Let's not go that far.
I seem to recall that Stowe is a midnight drawer.
Yes, I like to stay up till 1, 2 in the morning.
Which is
Give
just
the
insane.
opportunity. Oh man. Whoa, what was that?
Not me.
I'm trying not to look at the broadcast because in order for people to see what I'm drawing, I need to do the full screen thing. So if I do it, then anyone looking at me is going to see that infinite loop thing.
Oh,
I'm just going to assume everyone is still here.
okay.
Someone is making a weird noise.
Wasn't me, so I'm guessing Pat.
No.
So for this retreat reward that I'm drawing, I don't know if any of you know what Kobolds Ate My Baby is, but they asked that I draw the baby as a kobold from Kobolds Ate My Baby, which is very ironic because they eat them, the babies. I
If you
love
look at my screen, who here besides Stowe can identify this creature? It is an alien.
You're right. I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
Well, you should. I've told you like 4 times because you've seen it many times before.
But it's from one of my favorite movies of all time.
And yet it
I
only
think.
takes like about 6 seconds of screen time.
It does. But its alternate form is amazing. If it's what I think it is.
It is the space vampire from
It is what I think it is.
Life Force.
Yeah, which if you've never seen Life Force, you should do yourself a favor. That is a fantastic movie.
It
The
is.
best zombie, vampire, weirdness, alien movie you will ever see. I don't remember it having as many noses.
So if you look at my screen now, I'm sure you'll recognize this wonderful guy.
Oh, that's from They Live, right?
Oh yeah, that's totally They Live.
My favorite bit of that movie is what it did to all the signs.
Yeah, it's a super clever movie.
So my favorite bit was the when he looks at the currency and it just says, "This is your god."
They should really remake that movie.
What? No, it's Rowdy Piper's Legacy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's something we need to hold sacred.
Come on, that fight sequence was later parodied.
Yeah, no, that fight sequence is one of the best things ever filmed, but we could do it again.
Ah.
You know, they could make a TV show. How about that? Would that preserve the legacy enough for
Oh
you?
yeah, I'd be very happy with a TV show.
Like a FX or one of those kind of networks. Actually, I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. They Live would be a great television show.
I mean, they redid V.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
So I went to the Puyallup Fair, oh pardon me, the Washington State Fair this weekend.
And how was it? How many fried foods did you eat?
I had an elephant ear. Let's see, I had some ribs that were too done on the outside and a little too chewy. And what else did I have? They give you a lot of ribs, so that was... I would have been happy with just 2 ribs for half the price. And let's see. Started off with the scone. You gotta have a scone.
Oh, yeah.
It's the trademark thing to eat at the...
It's expected.
Now, one year, I limited myself to eating only items that came served on a stick.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
That was a fun year. But my wife says I'm way too predictable and always have the barbecue, so next year when we go, I'll definitely not have the barbecue. We almost went. There was this barbecue place that was doing turkey drumsticks. Just
Don't they always do turkey drumsticks?
these were just hitting everybody's sweet spot. Everybody was walking around with a turkey drumstick. I almost ordered a turkey drumstick taco plate. But no, I went for the ribs, and now I'm kind of regretting it. There's no way I could eat one of these turkey legs. They were just mammoth.
Turkey drumstick taco sounds amazing.
I know, doesn't it, though?
Yeah, no,
And
that sounds super good.
they smelled absolutely fantastic. I think what I should have done is gone for a corn dog and for some blooming onions. And then, of course, they have that one booth that'll fry anything.
Yep, I've been there. I've regretted it.
My next door neighbor, her son-in-law, says he was looking forward to going there so he could have a fried cube of butter.
Oh, I've heard the stories of that, but I thought it was just something some friar did on a bet and they didn't.
He's on this strange high-calorie protein diet, which has been working well for him. He used to be heavily obese, and he's dropped like 150 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, he is a fraction of himself.
And he credits it to what now? What is he?
He is doing a high protein and fat diet.
Huh.
And apparently if you have nothing but high proteins and fats, like he will, when he has his morning cup of coffee, he melts a stick of butter into it.
Okay, that's nasty.
to get as many of the calories on that as possible. But
That's, that's actually a new trend in coffee drinkers. They call it bulletproof coffee. It's actually like one of all the rage nowadays. It
Yeah,
popped up.
that just sounds gross. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've never tried it, but I've heard people that talk wonders about it.
Huh. Interesting.
well, there's certainly no arguing with his results. He was able to do a 7K run this summer, and there was just no way a year ago that he would have even been able to do that.
Well, could it be then that maybe it was the running that helped him out and not the stick of butter?
No, because he didn't run. He didn't run prior to that.
I know, but I'm sure running was part of his weight loss regimen.
Nope. He was just doing the diet.
What?
Yeah, I found it hard to believe myself.
I'm going to have to do some research on that.
Yeah. Well, I can speak from experience that when my wife and I did, we ran half of the LA Marathon a couple of years ago, and we trained for like 6 months to do the thing, and we didn't lose any weight. We actually gained weight because it, changed our body mass into muscles.
Yeah, muscle's heavier than fat.
Yep. So we actually gained weight instead of lost weight through our training.
But hey, it's still better to have muscle than fat.
Oh yeah. I mean, we agree completely, but we're like, we thought we might, lose a couple pounds. Nope.
Well, I could definitely stand to lose some weight. I don't know if I want to eat sticks of butter or anything, but
Oh, but won't you be going back on the cafeteria diet soon?
very soon, yep.
So,
The benefit of where I live.
yeah. Annie Wright, what a nice place to live.
Yeah. I had to have,
You don't know,
now that my son
Annie
is
Wright
13.
is a high school, a private high school here in Tacoma that basically looks like Hogwarts.
Yes, I
Oh,
live
is that the one that is that the one they use for 10 Things I Hate About You?
No, that's a public school, actually. I live in a private school just down the street. But I had to have the talk with my now 13-year-old son that since he lives in a boarding school with 100 teenage girls, he's going to be limited to where he can actually go by himself at this point.
Shame when your libido affects your mobility.
There are worse things, I guess. But I also had the, if you find yourself romantically attracted to someone here at the school, I really want you to let me know that, because being romantically interested in somebody, not an issue. Hiding the fact that you are, definitely an issue. Because as far as I can tell, he's all right to date. Just they like to know that kind of thing. I can't imagine what would have happened had I grown up in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
I started dating at like 14.
I didn't start dating until very late.
So when?
Oh, I think I was 17. I just didn't. I was well, for one, I was overseas, and it was very frowned upon for foreign exchange students to date. You could get sent home for it.
Interesting. Yeah, my first girlfriend had a car, and I lived in a really small town, so that was a big draw for me. Let's be able to get around. That'd be great.
Oh, breaking up must have been harsh on you.
No, by that point I had my license.
Oh, you cad.
All right, time to draw some cute kitty cats.
Yes, you've drawn a number of cats.
I have drawn a lot of cats, yes.
Wasn't Schrodinger's cats in the news the other day?
It was, yes.
Which one?
It was on the list of,
No.
like...
The live cat or the dead cat? Which was it?
Nice.
Both. But it was on some
Neither.
list of great cat games.
I
apparently
actually did that as a cartoon once, where the character in question was demonstrating it, but was having no luck because the cat wouldn't get into the box.
So I would imagine that the Exploding Kittens was also on that list of cat games.
Yes. Being the most successful card game of all time.
He says only slightly bitter.
Very, very bitter. It's very rare when a card game gives you your first glimpse of a heart attack. That card game did that. Now I'm going to cheat. I'm going to draw one cat and color it different colors. And then it's both cats.
I can't say anything. I do that for most of my characters.
Do you use the same body form for most of your characters?
No, but I use the same like feet and things like that. Expressions some of the time.
You know, with Vector, it's really easy to do clone comics, but I find that I rarely do it. For as easy as it would be for me to just be like, oh, I'm just going to use this resource right here. Nope, I tend to just redraw everything, which is why nothing looks consistent ever.
Yeah, I would go crazy if I did it your method and redrew everything.
I find it actually pretty cathartic. I like to redraw these characters over and over and over again because I smush them and they're very fluid, so I get to draw them in different ways. Like this face, for example. This is tomorrow's comic. That face just makes me laugh every time I look at it. And then drawing this pig as a really pissed off guy all the time is making me so happy.
Oh, I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
Yeah, I made a major decision about the comic, the next storyline today, and I told the kids, and they were like, "Ooh!" So I knew I did something right. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but we'll just have to wait. It's going to correspond with Halloween, though. It'll be good.
Ooh.
I'm still trying to decide whether I want to do a Halloween story this year or not.
You know, writing an adventure comic, it's really hard to do themed like things. Every once in a while, I'll try to slip in a page or two of content, but
Yeah.
oh, come on.
And it's hard enough, for the most part, it's hard enough doing Christmas.
You are obsessed with doing Christmas comics every year.
Yeah, didn't you just finish your Christmas storyline? I'm sorry. Didn't you?
I'm actually streamlining this process. Thank you very much. But I have a good one. I have a fairly good idea for one this year.
What was last year's? Because you were. I remember when we started Epic Sketch Time, you were talking about the Christmas episode, the Christmas story arc.
Last year involved a giant wall, which I freely admit that I was ripping off Game of Thrones and Attack on Titan simultaneously, and then having to bring hope into the winter by the Kris Kringle bribing Shub-Niggurath, or an eldritch abomination, with the first present of the year.
Wow.
Not just a little esoteric.
Yeah, that was impressive. That is hard to elevator pitch.
Yeah. Well, this year I have a good one. I have a decent elevator pitch. It's I'm pretty much doing Fear and Loathing,
Oh.
or essentially the Christmas that's based on Hunter Thompson's hallucinations.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I've done some concept art for it, though Mark's been giving me a hard time about it.
Okay, I love these cats. I want them actually in my strip now.
And I'm sure you'll find a way to work them in.
Absolutely. They'll sneak in there someplace.
That's actually one thing I'm prone to do too often, is since everything in my script is like 12 inches or smaller, whenever I find some random, Facebook post or Twitter news story about some obscure creature or bug, I find a way to bring them into the fold.
Nice.
So you must have been really rejoicing when there was that. What was that thing that they were researching? Some sort of nanite, or it looked weird. It's got to have these little legs and this big suckery, mouth on the end of it.
I have no clue what you're talking about, but
What are you talking about?
It's some sort of small creature that they were been doing test studies on, because it's almost impossible to kill one of these things.
Wait, are you talking about
so it's a cockroach.
no, the what are those things called? They got a little sucker mouth. They got six legs.
Yeah.
They're really, really tiny. They can exist in space and radiation and... Dang it, what are those things called? Oh, they're killing me now.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, they could be right now.
They took them up in space.
Leeches?
No, these things are smaller than leeches. But
Flatworms?
No, they're like microscopic.
But they do have that kind of parasite look to them with that sucker mouth.
Can you only see them while wearing special glasses?
That's right. They live. Nice throwback.
Hmm.
Well, if you guys figure it out, shoot me a link and I'll see if somewhere down the line I can incorporate them.
Yeah, because they're really tiny, and I think they might even be involved with dust. They're not dust mites, but they're.
All right, you got my attention.
They were all over Facebook a month ago.
Ugh.
Well, they weren't on my circles, but
How would you know? They're microscopic.
So I woke up this morning with a song from the new Monkey album going in my head.
The new what album?
Oh, the Monkees produced a new album.
The the fake band from the 70s, the Monkees?
Okay, they're not a fake band. They're a real band that started out as, yes, much like the Backstreet Boys, they were manufactured.
wait,
But
the monkeys or the gorillas?
Those were.
and several modern artists are big fans of the Monkees, and they wrote several songs, and they even found some old recordings. And the Monkees just released their 50th anniversary album that contains all their recorded songs, including the stuff that didn't get onto records. And they produced this new album with one song by Davy Jones that was taped before he died, or was actually way back when, was just been sitting on a shelf. And yeah, they really managed to capture a lot of the old sound, the old vibe.
I came across some reruns of the show a while back. It holds up pretty well in a sort of surreal 70s kind of way.
When I was watching the show the other day and realized, boy, I'm getting a lot more of the jokes now than I did as a kid. I have a big soft spot for bubblegum music.
Mm.
The Archies, the Monkees, the Partridge Family. Gentlemen, I'm going to say goodnight.
Good night. Well, I think it's time for me to say goodnight as well. See you all next week.
Okay.
I as well. We're not
Okay. Well, you all have a good one then.
Good night.
right?